Bones in the Fiesta, he's already got something behind him. 2:22 gets a bit of a smearing from 8:08. 1:43 Becky Osborne spun around. 2:99, all facing the wrong way. All properly done to kind of spin them out. Banger racing, and what we should be seeing. The leader now 2:58. We've got 1:77 Bones, 4:19. One now takes the lead. Number one going down the back, Dave Thomas, Parkson, Dorset. 2:58 still looking pretty lively though. He's and Rob Ferret behind him has made a very, very good cut through. He may have started from the back, but he's going to make his presence felt in this one, I think. He's not getting away with it too easy though. Bones turns him around on sort of affair. Number one, 2:58, 4:19, and then 4:10. So it's looking pretty good for Bovingdon at the moment. But the leader is one of your Ringwood boys. It's a Wimbledon car second. Bovingdon in third and fourth, or they were, 2:99. That's one of the Saunders boys down Hastings, goes through. He gets tangled at 8:08, black flag for 8:08. He has a puncture. 8:08. And 8:08, black flag please, 29 and 8:08, red flags, we have an insult, we have one over, we can't quite see that corner from here until you lean forward, there's somebody up inverted, it appears to be Kinsella, who's over. Away, 2:58 has already taken the lead in dubious car, no he's a left, right. Yep, a very quick start indeed by 2:58. Wayne, I think he was a little bit ahead of the start there, but no matter. 2:58 it is that leads from 1:77, 4:19, 15. Ferret getting well into the places. We've got 33. The tyres are not looking quite as good. There goes Cobbold in the Honda Civic. So the Eastbourne team a little bit tardy off the start there. Charlie King is trying to come through and see what he could do to get some points for the team. So is Wayne Saunders. Becky Osborne a little bit off course in the 1:43. The car looking a bit bent already. Not huge amounts of damage, and we don't want to see too much happen in the first couple of races. We want a mighty final later on when all the cars are out. 77 is now your leader. That's Bones O'Leary. Bones going very nicely. Has the Pete Stanley car. Sounds as though it's about to give up the ghost. So we've got 77, and then 4:19. Lee Hawkins. Then we should be looking at now moving up through the places, 1 or 2 being a limited 5 laps next time. There goes Becky Osborne, spun out by Lee Hawkins in the 4:19. Now that cost the Eastbourne team some 4 points. Looking increasingly good for the Bovingdon brigade, with Bones O'Leary out front and largely untroubled at the moment. He hasn't got too much in the way of a threat around his hands, but there's the black flag for the number 1 car of Dave Thomas. He has a puncture, he knows that, he pulls off the track just as he should be. Okay, those Ringwood boys, 13 and 15, doing okay. Been in the wars a little bit. Dom Darrington gets spun out by the 500. Scott Malady, 3:33, also turned around. That's Paul Gobb, another banger regular at Bovingdon. He's okay though, that'll still get points. You've got to keep them going, get up there and keep scoring. It's 77 in the lead, it's 4:19 second, so we've got 33 in third place, so that's 1 Ringwood driver scoring in the points. Then we have 3:33, sorry, 4:43, I expect to pass, and Mark Cobble getting himself in a position where he's not got a lot of challenges around him. That could be useful. Charlie King not far behind him in 2:04. 2 laps and 1 next time for the leader. O'Leary goes down the back stretch, he passes Dom Darrington, no problem there of course. Normally they'd probably have each other off, but this being a team race, luckily the red list did not descend and Dom's quite happy to let Tony through, and 4:10. Looks to me as though the blue and whites are running pretty good. Randall gets the black flag. flag, another puncture I think. Paul Gom is still running, thus scoring points for the locals, but here's the checkered flag for the man who very definitely wins it this time out, Bones O'Leary for the Bobby boys. Second place man, 419, that's Lee Rockins, he's from the Astra. Second, third, and we're waiting for, oh, right on the right on the line, and spins one out of the way in celebration. 443 Mark Cobbold, a 204 Charlie King, scoring well for Eastbourne. So it's looking quite good. It would seem to be though. Red flag for Stardust, red flag, thank you. Points being scored there by Bovingdon and Eastbourne in some. Oh, poor old Moneypenny just cues up some music there and he got to start gassing again. What it is, we didn't give you that Super Stocks result. We got that sorted out. The bangers were out there and overwhelmed us. So here's the result of race 1 for the 16. The first person to get rumbled is Spider Baggett in the number 8, 529, 280. Cecil in the 194, 329. Another of the Bobby boys, that's Nick Parrish, settles into 4th position. They're looking good. The Bovingdon team coming up through the ranks very quickly. Baz Williams, who never exactly hangs about, looming up on Chris Woods as they go into the top turn. A quick punt out of the way, and the 5 goes with him. There's Chris Lum spun around in the 341. Well then, quite a front start. Cecil trying to bury 2 off at once. That's a bit more than little Honda can chew. I think a 280 nearly wiping him out as 329 goes back into the front of the fray. So I think we're looking, oh no, Cecil gets his way. I said that car was quick. It certainly is if he can stay out of trouble. 194, 329, 34, 5, but no, there goes 113, red flag. That's one of the Wimbledon boys making a quick. It's not been a good afternoon for Wimbledon cars falling over, has it? We had Freddie Kinsella boys not having a great day out in this one. So Wimbledon getting quite a pasting this time. 768 looks like. Another rolling start here in Team Banger Race Heat 2. This is 8 versus 8 versus 8 versus 8. But 6 of those have already gone as far as Wimbledon is concerned. Looking quite good for Eastbourne at the moment, I have to say, with all those blue and yellows at the front. All they've got to do is Vinnie Pearson remember not to spin his teammate 182. We'll be fine. 463 Chris Wood gets stuck in on Spider Baggett. We've got Cecil in the 194, that very quick little Honda. Couple rather more ponderous Bovingdon cars before, but if Baz gets through there in the 34, he'll be out to cause some mischief and mayhem at the front for sure. And the Bobby boys now starting to look good, and so they should on the home track. 464 and 329 following the leader through as a couple of cars get into it down on the bottom turn. It's Vinnie Pearson in the lead from 182, Dave Ellen, 194. Red flags again. 464 is another of your Bobby boys. I keep shooting one sheet of things here to another. Dave Fellows and David, how local is he? Oh, Hemel Hempstead, a real local. And David also usefully placed to get some good points. I think we've got Baz Williams still lurking in the mix. He certainly is, but he appears to have had a bit of a disadvantageous sending to the back. Possibly because of his prowess on the track. He's at the back along with another track champion, Rob Haynes, the Rook in 158, the champion down at Eastbourne, and he drops to the back as they get away. Must this be a plan? Can this be a plan? I don't know. Anyway, 194, 329, 5, 397, 464 as they go. 517 spins Chris Woods out of the way, and certainly taking no prisoners there. Scott Weldon. And 171, another Wimbledon car bites the dust. That's Jim Simpson getting spun around in front of us. He joins Too Much Pain. We're up the front and going like a rocket. It's Steve Cecil Anscombe in the 194 Honda. 182. Now there's one of your Eastbourne boys turned around. Dave Ellen facing the wrong way. He's got to try and get himself back on track somewhere or another. Looks like he might not take a diversion, but doesn't. That's a good Got 2. 194 it is then, heading 329 and setting a good pace there in second position. Should get some useful local points. Nick Parrish, the Tasman, is on the job. And then he's a little bit lacking in backup, sadly, because I don't see too many other blue and whites. Baz Williams is an awful long way behind. This is one he's looking pretty good now, actually, for Ringwood to make a bit of a comeback in the points. Chris Woods is into all sorts of trouble with those boys. Dave Ellen now hammered out of it by Paddy Connolly and perched on the battens. And there goes Chris Woods. My goodness, Baz Williams certainly got stuck in there and took 2 out with them in 1 go. Grand job by Baz, but it's not going to score any points if he can't get a bit further forward, although perhaps eliminating the opposition might be the other way to go. 171 gets turned around again. Jim Simpson is having a bit of he'll get his head spinning by the time all this is done. Still Cecil that leads it in car 194 with a good old margin, but that 517 Ringwood car looking pretty lively. Scott Weldon, number 5 still with us out there. And it's a black flag for 446, who has a puncture. Spike in the number 5 is looking pretty good. 446, Jason Burt for Ringwood is the one with the puncture problem. He's going to be out very shortly. 381 still running again. 301, Mark Sandover for Ringwood. And yet another Ringwood car behind that. So this looks like the Hampshire boys and Dorset, I should say. Hampshire and Dorset boys will probably get a good score here. But the lion's share of the points are going to go to Sussex on the little thing, with 194 in. Where's the 517? He's getting a little bit left behind in the slope. He's not doing too bad. The captain is doing well to be within sight of that Honda. Rapid little machine here. How he's going to manage to reel in Cecil from that position, I don't know, but Cecil has a lot of back markers to contend with at any point. 517, number 5, 452, not sounding too clever out of Isle's car. One of those where you just got to keep it running a bit longer. Vinnie Pearson needs to the team. 5 laps next time, by the way, for number 194. And up the back stretch goes Cecil, as yet unscathed, apart from the front end of his car. He obviously hasn't been restraining himself from a little contact here and there. The Honda, quite a rapid little car, the Civic. Saving its best for later, perhaps. Vinnie Pearson is still there, running points. 517 Scott for Ringwood in second position is going to pick the useful man for them, I think. And number 5 Spike also is third. 301 Mark Sandover, 329. Bovingdon's efforts this time looking a little bit as though they've turned to dust, which is a shame. But the local teams now are going to be struggling as they go into the final. They're going to have to make a big push, I think, to uphold local honour. Second, I believe, in races, and Bovingdon doing well up to now. Nick Parrish looks like to be the leading light for this one. Baz has been the man doing some damage in the 34. We've got Grumpy in the 697 still running. Richard John. He's all the way from South London, actually, with Catford, and he loves Bovingdon. He keeps towing around all that awful business of the M25 to get here. He must like it a lot, and he's still running in this one and doing some useful point scoring. Man with a trendy haircut, if I remember right, is Richard. He's tooling around at the moment, looking for something to hit, and there isn't anything. But there's the 1 lap to go sign for Cecil, who now has got to think about whether he actually wants to pass Baz Williams in the 34. I wouldn't recommend it, but if he doesn't, I feel that there may be somebody else who has other plans. Cecil doesn't know quite what to do. He's not usually lost for a plan, but Baz is getting all squirrely coming out of the last turn. Cecil can probably afford to try and pass him now or take him out. One or the other. It's neither. They both glare at each other as they come across the line. An interesting finish, not quite the lively one I expected, but Cecil comes through. Baz decides it wasn't worth it at that stage and let him by. And Baz promptly spins himself. There's a red flag around start straight away, and straight away punted out 569. Oh, Lord lovely, right across the point, goes 206, 464, and then he goes with him. 808 is smacked in there. Dom Darrington is smashed into the back wall. 419, Lee Watkins is knocked out. Super Stan in the 40 facing the wrong way. Well, there's all sorts of cars all over the place. 322 Twigo, who seems to be going as well as any. Black flag 522 for old Tim James's car. It's not the worst for wear. I don't know if he'll make it round here. 258 and 77, that's the first two as we try and get 258 smack sideways on the bottom front. 77 Bunzo Leary there is right behind it. 258 he was quite quick earlier on, and he's going well in that. I think it's a Nissan. And he's going quite well for Wimbledon. This could be the chance for them to get something back here. Wayne Turner is the man who's got it all resting on his shoulders. 258, 77 Bones is gone. Yep, he got involved with something in the top turn, and now he's finding himself relegated with it further down the back. 258 is going through turns 3 and 4 now. Still out of trouble at the moment. Second place. 204 Charlie King is coming through pretty well. Respawn, his man, and Dan Twigo in 322. He squeezes through. I think that's our man up there in the second position now, because he's already taken that position from King. So it's quite an impressive lead. 5 laps into the race, and it looks to me as though the leader's cars sustained an awful lot of damage. Black flag for 158, black flag for 158. I don't know if he's coming back, but he's got a flag on the right rear. Those are the red flags. It's a red flag situation. We've got a driver in trouble on the track. We've got to sort them out. There's certainly, we don't want to see an injury. However tough the racing, 258 slows up and gets a hit. He was doing it absolutely by the book. The rest of the pack, sadly, didn't see the red flag, ploughed into him, even though the reds were going out. So the leader in trouble just as the red flags went out. 258 it was that leads it. We'll just get them back into some semblance of order, and then we'll tell you what the restart will bring. It's 5 laps in the book, and that'll be a lap sheet restart. And sadly, I've got to suppose now that the Ringwood team are sort of effectively homeless as far as it goes. But 58 cars just started this final, which out of 60 wasn't a bad survival rate, yet the heat happened because the driver was in trouble. He had a nasty shunt down the far side, and second heat, Wimbledon's luck was looking as though it might improve with Wayne running hard at the front, but have got 158 the rookie's out. 143 Becky Osborne from the lady racer from Hastings is right in front of us here, along with Mark Cobbold in the 443. So a good number of cars remaining for the Eastbourne team. For Bovingdon, the leading contender at the moment, and remember that Bones was running extremely well earlier on and then got interfered with, as it were. He's being put towards, I think he's got a place to get into the further up the grid, because I think he's just a bit blocked out by the traffic at the minute. But either way, Tony will be ready for the off, and he can pull a few strokes. I'm sure he will do so. 486, the man with most of the pressure. 204, black flag for 204. He has a puncture, so Charlie King effectively will just get the 1 lap in for Eastbourne. He's got a flat on the looks like he's getting sensible, as it happens with a little help from Keith Conlon, as Chris Woods gets spun up for the first time this afternoon. And Mark Cobbold very nearly goes first. Here's Dom Darrington. Dom himself is just disposed of by 446. One of the Ringwood boys, Jason Burt. He's going nicely. Then he gets whacked into a big pile of stuff and ends up facing the wrong way. Bobby Pooley spun round in front of us. There's Bovingdon's best hope gone. Now where is Bones? Bones is the man who's got to do it all, and he's right behind the number 5 of Kelly. And they're coming up the back stretch past the Green Bank now. Bones is homing in on Kelly. He's got a much smaller car. He's going to have to deal with that big Cavalier as he sees fit. There's the black flag for Becky Osborne, who's got a flat on the left front of the 143 car. Bones is going well. Charlie King's not taken the hint of the black flag, and he will have to be dealt with, no doubt. Number 1 also has a flat, so number 1, a black flag for number 1, black flag for 204. Liverpool reaches this point again, because Charlie now in trouble on the top turn. Number 1, the leader at the moment. Beg your pardon. It's all happening too quick for me to keep up with. Now, where are you? 77 and 397 altogether, and so Tony O'Leary indeed doing quite a good job in this one of getting some points back for Bovingdon. 397. Andy Chapman is in there too with that little Honda, another one of several. 228. Bob Barnes is now in trouble. Steve Randall punts him out of the way. Tony O'Leary held up. 397. 5 laps next time for 39 this time rather. 5 laps this time for 397. Here he comes. And he's the pacemaker for the Eastbourne team, and he does seem to have had a bit of a charmed life in this one, because he's had quite a lot of stuff thrown at him and managed to come through it unscathed. And in second position, the 33, Ringwood, Steve Randall. Now that slowed him up. We're now badly lacking cars here, and it looks quite 204. Charlie King is not going to be in the result. He's now pulled off into the infield. I think, yep, I think Charlie's had enough. Nope, he's still rolling on that flat tyre. He's had several black flags, not taking the warning yet. So, Bones O'Leary for Bovingdon now being homed in on by Steve Randall from Ringwood. The inevitable happens, in goes the Fiesta. Around goes the Fiesta, and 33 Randall is the man disposing of the Bovingdon man. Steve Randall goes straight into the back of Chris Wood's 463, doesn't stop himself. Certainly that he appears to have all the right things to keep that Cavalier going. 33 Randall then is looking pretty good for Ringwood right now, and the chances of the other two. On the other hand, what's he got for backup? He's got number 5. He's got number 5 Kelly still running. If he can keep it going to score some points, it's Randall and Kelly for Ringwood who seem to be their best hope. 419 Lee Hawkins is still on the run for the local team. 397 Chapman, 529 Keith Conlon, who's done a sterling job for Wimbledon, but I think it's too little too late. And 697, the man with the haircut, Richard John, is still running for the locals as well. So it could be touch and go at the top. Charlie King is out and off. Now then, Eastbourne have just 1 point scoring car still running. He's going to win the race, and he does. Andy Chapman from Ashford in Kent, crossing the border to Sussex, or to Hertfordshire really, several borders. He's racing for the Sussex-based team, and a regular at the Eastbourne Speedway. We've got the second place man, and Lee Hawkins does a hit on Steve Randall up on the top turn that may affect the result. We've just got the winner so far. We still need more placemen. So Andy Chapman's done the job as far as Eastbourne's concerned, but heck, that's going to be close in the points. Randall crosses the line backwards. 697, Richard John still in the running. Spike, the number 5 for Ringwood. Just about lurching across there. We've got the red flag this time. We've got them all in. There's going to be some hard and fast calculating done, and then we'll tell you the winning team. almost before the green goes out. 206 is out. Baz is getting a head-on job from the 206 car. Whoa! Macaroni into the wall down here. That's Dom Darrington getting a bit of a pasting off the 465 of Peter Giles. Dom returns to compliment. Charlie King is in big trouble. 464 getting smashed through over the place at 9pence. That's Dave Fellows getting a right hammering axle, helping Vaughan while the third moves to bodywork. At number 5, that's getting systematically torn apart. Mark Kelly still seems to have some action, but one of the wheels isn't pointing where it should. Weevil's in a head-on situation with Dom Darrington on the top turn, along with 808 Shiner and 463 Woods, whose car is getting shorter by the minute. Dave Thomas in the number 1 still seems to have a car with a bit of go after this. Rigo in 322 as a gentle tackle of his Richard John round, but there's no gentility behind him as the 1 and the 206 get involved. They're losing them quickly. 465 down here in front of us. Whoops. No, a tyre has gone completely off the rim on that one, so no more future. 465, Pete Giles ejected the entire tyre, if there's such a word. At 618, Kinsella now has decided that left-handed is the way to go, and promptly, narrowly, this is somebody coming down the way. This is Richard John. They were going a little bit combined speed, but I wouldn't want to do that myself. And it promptly smacks into a parked car. Well done, Fred. Good job. 465 still creeping round, but he should be off the track soon. We don't want the track circuit torn up. He is under a black flag. He cannot win this event anyway. And let's hope that puts paid to that. Nope, it hasn't. 697, Richard John, the man who tried hard though. Now here's a controversy coming up, because if the man with the torn off tyre wins, he probably won't, if you see what I mean. I hear somebody else's engine running, but can't see where they're working. That's a checker flag, ladies and gentlemen. That didn't last as long as we thought it might. Splendid afternoon here, and I think we will be finding the winner has been declared as... We're waiting for the word from the big B. What's he going to say? Is it going to be Richard John? Gets the ball. 206 now. It's still mobile, but was he mobile at the time of the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen? That we must ask ourselves. Matt Kelly's making a good effort though, the Kinson boy, and he's still got a little bit of damage he wants to do. They don't know when they're beating some of these fellas, do they? But it's looking increasingly to me as though we're going to have a steward's verdict on this one, because that was time of the checkered flag. He was in there. 465 had already been black flagged, so he didn't count, and Matt Kelly, bless him, fired up that car a little bit too late after the checkered flag.